Family, what in the world is a situationship? Man, maybe it's because I'm from a different generation. Although I'm not as old as I look, you might be able to guess my age, but at the end of the day, what is this thing? How does a situationship become an actually supported, legitimized relationship status? Let's get into it here at 180 Truth. Family, I'm so glad that I've been out of the dating market for a long time. Been happily married for 22 years. Glory to God. And I'm so grateful for my wife. So grateful for the Lord giving me the woman of my dreams. And guess what? However, I have, as a director of men's ministry and a minister of the Christian Cultural Center for some time, I've seen a lot of situations and relationships, but I've never heard of a situationship. I do remember, though, I think in listening to this young lady here, I do remember some flashbacks to when I was younger, to other people that I've known over the years, but it's interesting that this is actually a trend. What do you think about these situationships? Why don't you let me know in the comment? Let's react to this video here by this young lady, Brett Cooper.
Alrighty, so this article is from Time Magazine. It was just a couple of days ago. They said, situationships are the future of dating. That's not a bad thing. Hey, if you have been in a situationship, if you know what a situationship, you know that that's utterly false. No, it's not a good thing. Nobody has a good time in a situationship. If you don't know what one is, I have this guy on TikTok, and he's describing it in a kind of funny manner. So if you need to catch up, here we go.
Situationship is when two people are attracted to each other and they start hanging out. They're maybe talking to each other every day, texting, sending photos, gifts, all the joys. But then one day, one of them realizes, it's been 4 months, I've met his friends, I've met his family, and we even have nicknames for each other. We're surely dating. And then all of a sudden, we're at month number 10, and they still don't know for sure if they're in a relationship. So I told them that's what it's...
Okay, I'm getting some flashbacks. I remember some people. I remember some relationships. Oh, okay. All right, let's continue.
Situationship is. And he asks what happens when you have the what are we conversation with the other person. And I told him that's when they just start to fade away until one day, poof, they don't text you anymore.
The entire situation surrounding situationships is dumb in itself. And I think it all goes back to Gen Z being terrified to have any kind of serious, nuanced conversation, being too afraid.
Nah, I'm not gonna lie. Immediately what drew my mind was there was a book back in the day by some Christian author, I Kissed Dating Goodbye. And I think that this author actually went ahead later on and came out with an apologetic concerning the book. And I'm not really sure what the situation is with that author today. I don't remember there being a whole lot of good stuff. But I just want to pause right here because, I remember there was this thing about kissing, dating goodbye. And I remember all these folks around me were like, are we dating? Are we not? These are Christians. Christians, a Christian book, great context. Christian book, Christian dating stuff. And all these Christians were now in their feelings with each other, but they weren't supposed to be dating because somehow you're supposed to kiss dating goodbye, as if dating is not part of the natural course of a relationship, the getting to know you part. Dating is engaging in social events, and that's what dating is. But with dating, if you want to make it more sophisticated, it was just the acknowledgement of we got some feelings for each other, there's some chemistry going on. But these folks were in the chemistry part, in the relationship part, and who I saw those suffer the most were the Christian women, who were they were in their feelings for some guy, but the guy was like, well, we're not dating. But you're spending all this inordinate amount of time with them. I'm like, yo, but we're not dating. So the guy was completely free, but a lot of the sisters just couldn't separate their feelings. But then suddenly the guy would kind of get bored or tired and then move on to another woman. And then they would be coming around and they'd be gossiping and getting angry and everybody be angry. And they all had to do with this bright idea book. Man, completely mishandled. I'll get into a video some other time about the place of dating in regards to choosing a mate within the Christian context. But again, unless you're getting into a prearranged marriage, then you're going to end up dating. Let's continue with this young lady who has some funny things to say.
afraid to commit, being too afraid to stand up for themselves, being too afraid to rock the boat in any way that's not in some like social justice warrior progressive angry protest, because they definitely rock the boat in that sense. But anyway, back to the article. This was written by a sexologist and a therapist who is super stoked about these situationships.
Oh, yeah, trustworthy person.
I don't like where this is going.
So the term was coined by Karina Hachey in 2017 when the use of dating apps was on the rise. It makes sense that as more and more people embarked on dating through swiping and matching, the relationship statuses had to change as well. Hachey described situationship as a hookup with emotional benefits. That sounds absolutely terrible. Emotional benefits? It's called a relationship.
Emotional benefits for who? Most of the dudes I know ain't that emotional. We got a couple of emotions, angry and angrier, and that just, oh man, oh boy, Lord help.
People, as opposed to the equally amorphous friends with benefits, which starts platonically, but develops a sexual component. What the two do have in common, though, is a lack of commitment and clearly defined roles. And that lack of commitment in situationships could actually have more freeing effects than one might think. Oh, really? A
freeing from responsibility. And again, I just want to put this out there, ladies. You're the gatekeepers for your bodies. Because these kinds of situationships, they benefit men who are willing to continue to commit to their immaturity and getting as much from you without having to, how shall we say, make a lifelong commitment.
Of commitment and clearly defined roles, that wouldn't confuse anybody. That wouldn't make anybody incredibly stressed. The author then says situationships with all of their gray area might actually be helping people focus less on defining where they're going and more on fully enjoying the present. Yes.
No, you're just protecting yourself from being hurt by thinking you're in control. You're not. You're not in control. The worst parts of yourself is in control, and you're usually being driven by fear.
She goes on and she says, as a sex and dating coach, many of my clients work with me because they want long-term partnership, whatever that means to them. Whatever that means to them. There really is no other way to define that. They're usually open to exploring possibilities in the process, and I encourage them to do so. Staying open to people who may not be exactly aligned with your initial dating goal makes things a little easier and way more fun. Oh, yeah.
No, you're increasing the amount of pain you're about to experience by staying with people who are not in agreement with your desire for a long-term relationship. Remember that these relationships are not meant to be construction projects. What you see is what you get. And when someone shows you who they really are, believe them the first time.
Yes, it's all just about fun. Oh, this person doesn't want to get married, doesn't want to have kids, has values that are completely opposite to yours, but you know what?
And they're going to use you up and then move on to somebody they're willing to be committed to.
He's got washboard abs. Let's have some fun. Like, okay, no, it's not, guys. Alert, it's not. It removes the urgency of immediately finding what you're looking for and allowing you to stay open to enriching connections while you search. Rather than berating yourself for exploring someone that catches your eye, you can embrace that experience for what it is. This also keeps you from staying in untenable situations because you're less likely to force a relationship when it isn't really ideal for you. In this way, situationships actually provide a structure or framework for understanding relationships that don't fit neatly in a box. Maybe it wasn't a waste of time. Maybe it was just a situationship. Okay, so rather than focusing on what is important to you and your goals, you should just have fun and waste time. No, it's not just a situationship. You are wasting time. There's another.
And the fact that the reality, this is the thing. So many of us, so many people are waiting around for an upgrade. So they're with somebody in a situationship, waiting around for an upgrade because they want to do better. But in the meantime, they want to have a form of medication for their loneliness, for their emptiness, for their lack of purpose in life, or for their biological fix.
It's like, just look up the phrase online and see what people are saying. Nobody is having a good time. She said, when your situationship hits the 6-month mark and you finally have to face facts because you kind of already mentioned you want more 900 times.
That's right.
And then she's like falling off the bed because she's so upset. Does that seem like we're having a great time? Does that seem like Gen Z is super stoked about how amazing situationships are?
That's right.
Here's another one. Does she seem like she's having a good time? No, none of them are. Here's some tweets about it. You know how much you gotta hate yourself to stay in a situationship knowing you want a relationship. That doesn't sound like fun. Somebody else said, my last situation.
Wow, this just opens you up for heartache and pain. So much heartache and pain that's here. I don't, these folks that write these magazine articles, these folks that are so-called experts, remember that they're oftentimes projecting a fantasy life to you. It's kind of like what they want you to embrace is Brave New World, if you've never read that book, where no one owns any property and no one gets married because somehow marriage is associated with ownership. It's ridiculous. It's silly. It's goofy. And it's sad. And all it does is increase the unhappiness. That's why in Brave New World, everyone's taking Soma, a pill to make them happy all the time, because they're really miserable.
Situationship was a social experiment created by the government to see how much I can take. Somebody else said, situationship, let's just chill, have sex, be confused on the fact that we're not together but have official emotions for each other. Again, not pleasant. Somebody else said, I'd rather eat glass than be in a situationship again. Somebody else said, getting over a situationship is worse than getting over a relationship. In another life, I probably would have taken better decisions and not ended up in a year-long brain-altering situationship with you.
Wow.
One person was trying to make it work. She said, even a situationship needs rules and boundaries and a certain predictability. There's no connection that can exist and survive without a code of conduct, clear limits, clear expression of your needs and wants. Okay, that right there, my friend, that's an overly complicated relationship.
Modern problems require modern solutions.
You have taken a whole lap, and you know what we've come back to? A committed relationship. Boundaries, rules, a certain predictability, that's being in a committed relationship. If you're saying that you are in a committed situationship, you are losing your damn mind. And Gen Z needs to literally go touch grass if they actually think that this is good. And you know, I genuinely do not think Gen Z thinks this way. I don't know where this is coming from. The weird millennial sexologists who have some weird fascination with Gen Z's sex lives.
Exactly.
Or the Tinder executives that want everybody to think that we still love their dating apps. Nobody does. Nobody uses Tinder. Sorry to burst your bubble. Here's some common sense. This guy said, if you're in a situationship with a man, he's keeping you around for easy, accessible sex until he can trade up. If a man truly wants to be with you, he will remove all the complications preventing you from being his girlfriend. It is really that simple.
Boom!
That's the point. Have some self-respect. This is not good for you. You are wasting your time. You are wasting your energy. Those are two things that you cannot get back. Focus on yourself or actually try to commit to somebody.
I see two reasons for situationships. Lust, where someone just simply wants to benefit at the expense of others. That's what lust is. Lust is benefiting myself at the expense of someone else. That's lust. Love is benefiting somebody else even at my expense. Okay, so when you're lusting, you are operating in a place of real selfishness. And then the other point is fear. You are afraid. You're afraid of something, and so you are willing to go along with a situationship that is ultimately going to tear the other person apart, and your own soul is being torn apart. This was a great video, funny video. That young lady is hilarious, and I will say to you all that pay attention to what younger folks are saying. For all you young folks that tuned in, thank you. Younger folks than me, rather, because I still consider myself to be young at heart. But I just want to share with you this again. Know your value and know that you're meant to be loved and to love, and you're designed that way. God bless you. God keep you. Thanks for being here at 180 Truth. Please subscribe, hit the notification bell, and share this video and share a comment. What is your experience in regards to situationships? God bless.